So the whole idea was to bring everything related to laboratory under one digital platform, keeping safety and sustainability as a kind of a proactive mindset.
One safety habit everyone should adopt.
Always think twice before you start any activity in the lab, so that we are not reacting when the incidents happen, but we are preventing the incident to happen proactively. We are addressing those upfront by bringing the safety and sustainability integrating that into kind of a daily workflow. But this proactive mindset that whenever I am going in the lab, safety is the first thing that should come in my mind, and Sustafe digital platform is helping in that respect.
Hello and welcome to the podcast of Medica Secure. Today we have a pleasure to meet Irfan Saeed, co-founder and CEO of a company which calls Sustafe. So we're here in Helsinki and we have a pleasure to meet him. Welcome, Irfan. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you very much, Olga, for having me here.
So could you just tell us about yourself and your professional journey?
I am coming from a chemistry background. I have worked in academia, in research institutes, and in industry for more than 25 years. And I have worked in different countries like in Pakistan, in Japan, in Germany, and currently in Finland. And during the course of this journey, I have worked in laboratories and also at the industrial sites. I have seen different safety procedures, different ways of working, different safety cultures along the way. And while I was going ahead in my career, my perspective about the safety, laboratory safety and the workplace safety expanded. And I realized that it's not just about the protocols, it's not just about the procedures and the compliance. It very much has to do with the culture and with the mindset. Laboratories are very important. Laboratories are at the core and heart of any innovation, whether it's the advanced materials, whether it's the new medicines, whether it's the sustainable technologies, whether it's the solving the environmental challenges. Behind all these challenges is discoveries and the work that's happening in the laboratories. But the laboratories need to be sustainable, they need to be safe. So along the way, I have realized that beyond protocols, beyond procedures, there should be a strong safety culture, and people need to have the right information and right mindset at the right time.
So at which moment you said, okay, this is my inspiration and I go forward to continue the project? How many years it took you to start the project?
Well, it's not like a kind of a tipping point or a kind of a crucial moment that came up as a kind of a pinnacle that now we decided about that one. It basically, the whole roots goes back to the observations that me and my other co-founders have done over the years, working in, as I mentioned, in academia, in research institute and in industry over the labs. And we have noticed that there are three big challenges if we think about the laboratory safety or any workplace safety. From the laboratory safety point of view, what we noticed is that most of the labs, they are working in, when they are advancing, they are working in a kind of a reactive mode, meaning that there are certain protocols, there are certain procedures, certain regulations in place, but if something happens, then they are basically doing something to prevent the incidents. And we think that in order to move ahead, to take the safety to the next level, we have to go from reactive mode to the proactive mode, that you are thinking safety ahead of any experimental planning. Other thing we noticed is that in the lab, it's not just about the experiments. You have to have inventory, chemicals inventory. You have to manage the inventory. You have to do the experimental planning. You have to have the waste management. If there is some incident, safety-related incident happening, you also need to report those incidents. And then if there are sustainability metrics, they are also there. So what we have noticed that either they are manual processes or they are paper-based processes, or if they are digitalized, they are quite in different systems. Like for inventory management, there is a different system. For incident reporting, there is a different system. So this fragmentation basically creates redundancies. It creates inefficiencies. So the whole idea was to bring everything related to laboratory under one digital platform, keeping safety and sustainability as a kind of a proactive mindset. And additionally, sustainability is addressed, but it is addressed like a kind of a separate topic, a separate initiative. But we thought that safety and sustainability go hand in hand, and you can see that from our name, Sustafe, sustainability and safety.
So you're creating a software. What is your big vision? Should it be implemented only for laboratories, or let's say hospitals including? Or maybe small private clinics where they have nurses who are doing analysis or something like that?
Yeah. So right now, our idea is that we are creating a digital platform that can be web-based. It can also be, of course, used on the tablets and the mobile phones. But as you can imagine, while hands-on working in the laboratory, mobile phones might not be so convenient. So we are developing a full-blown solution on a digital platform. And right now, as I said, our solution is not meant just for the laboratories. We are thinking about all kind of industrial sites. So our scalability or how we can expand in different dimensions is that right now we are in the laboratory scale, but of course we can go to the bigger scale, for example, at the pilot scale or the industrial scale. Right now we are targeting chemistry and biochemistry or biology labs, but the whole concept of making the workplace more safer, more sustainable and more efficient can be applied to any other working environment. It could be a construction industry, it could be automobile industry, it could be any industry where mechanical work is involved. You can think about this. The possibilities are limitless.
And if you could solve only one global laboratory problem, what would it be? More concentrated in the laboratory which working with viruses, or it would be like a general approach? So what you're thinking when you create that?
So whether we are working in the chemistry laboratory where you have to deal with the hazardous chemicals or the dangerous chemicals and also some sophisticated equipment, or you are dealing in the biology where you are dealing with viruses and there could be the biohazards involved, whatever the working environment is, the problem we are trying to solve here is that our mindset should be proactive rather than reactive. So what we are trying to do is that we address safety, also sustainability proactively, so that we are not reacting when the incidents happen, but we are preventing the incident to happen proactively. We are addressing those upfront by bringing the safety and sustainability integrating that into kind of a daily workflow.
So let's talk a little bit about laboratory safety and culture, because you have experience working a lot in laboratories. How safe laboratories are nowadays compared, let's say, 20 years ago?
Well, there is, if you follow the news and following the news, we don't see like a very major accidents happening. And compared to like 20 years ago when I was doing my PhD, the environment was different. And when we were developing the Sustafe digital platform, I had an opportunity to talk to the same labs actually where I had done my PhD, and a little bit reflected 20 years back that how the safety was and how it is now. And things have improved quite a lot. There had been a lot of emphasis. There are with respect to the personal protective equipment, what kind of the laboratory gear you are wearing on, not only your lab coat, but also the goggles and the helmets whenever they are needed, also the shoes and the gloves and so on. But also there are many engineering solutions that are helping equipment-related safety features. They are included into that one. And institutes and organizations also are putting a lot of effort on training their individuals, training their employees. I would say that in industry, the level of the safety, the emphasis on safety is much more compared to academia, but I have seen an improvement. And we see less major incidents happening, but we have to remember that if there is any major incident, behind those major incident, there could be many near misses. There could be first aid cases, a lot of first aid cases. There could be unsafe acts, unsafe behavior. So we have to address those unsafe behaviors and acts at the first place, so that there is no unsafe conditions, no unsafe behaviors, which are part of our day-to-day work. So by doing that one, we can proactively prevent incidents from happening.
Maybe you could give us an example, what are the biggest challenges in laboratories nowadays? When the students are entering, for example, or it's really when the people are in laboratories so often that they really sometimes skip some measures.
So maybe we divide this into two parts. One thing is that kind of the challenges. I think a couple of those I already mentioned. If we talk purely from the safety point of view, we have the systems in place, safety protocols, safety procedures are in place. And if something happened, there are some systems to report the incidents, and based on that report, certain actions are taken and some preventive measures are taken, some mitigation actions are taken, and then corrective actions are taken so that the incidents don't happen in the future. So, but the laboratories are not just to be safe and sustainable; they have to innovate. And they need to have day-to-day experiments going on. There are lab operations which are happening all the time, and then labs also need to be compliant when it comes to inspection, or when it comes to auditing, or when it comes to compliance. They also need to have that one. Now, if we think about this operational part of the lab, then there is a compliance part of the lab. Then there is a safety responsibility and the sustainability matrix. The systems are rather fragmented and they are in different silos. Either they are manual or they are paper-based, or if they are digital, they are working in silos. They are not communicating with each other. So the whole idea of the Sustafe is that with respect to labs, we bring all the systems under one digital platform, so that all the systems are communicating with each other, and the labs becomes more efficient, and the people working in the labs, they don't have to do redundant work to find the information, but they find everything under one platform. So less administrative work, more science and innovation, and that they can do that one. Another thing is that I mentioned about the proactive mindset. When thinking about the proactive mindset, most of the organizations are now in the reactive mode. They have a very good training in place, but this proactive mindset that whenever I am going in the lab, safety is the first thing that should come in my mind, and Sustafe digital platform is helping in that respect. So the second part of the question was related to the newcomers, and it's very important that because the lab environment is not static, it's a very dynamic environment, meaning that people might be changing, the research themes might be changing, they will be having some new chemicals which are coming into their use, some new equipment might be coming, some new protocols, new operational procedures might be coming into the picture. And when the newcomer is coming, when they are not fully aware, first thing is that they need to be properly trained. There should be kind of obligatory trainings that they need to go through that one. They are not a roadblock. They are basically easing their work so that there is nothing serious happens, they are not injured, they are safe in the lab. And then there should be a very good communication with respect to the new comers. There should be a very good guidance for them, a very good mentoring for them, and the newcomers should not take safety and sustainability thinking as a kind of a separate thing. It should be part of their innovative thinking. Because when they're thinking how I can be safe, they can think of the new ways of working, how I can be more sustainable. For example, when someone is going to use a very hazardous chemical, thinking from the sustainability point of view, from the safety point of view, they might come up with a greener solvent alternatives. And these greener solvent alternatives might open new ways for the innovation. And they should always be open for asking the question and open for a new learning opportunity, because lab environment is never static, it's dynamic, it's changing.
So why do accidents continue to happen despite extensive regulations? Do we have any kind of little statistics about that? How often it happens, like let's say in a month or in a year?
So compliance or following the regulation is one thing, that if there are certain safety compliance that you have to have in the lab, that is one thing, but it just means that your lab fulfills certain safety standards, and after those standards the conditions are not unsafe, but it doesn't mean that lab is all the time, because lab is not static, it's dynamic, and environment is dynamic. So it is pretty much starting here. It's pretty much the safety culture that we need to have it. Compliance just tells us what to do and certain rules to follow, but safety culture is telling you to do things safely even no one is watching, and follow the safety protocols, so follow the safety regulations even no one is there. And even some incident is happening, and this is very important part, that we need to create an environment where there is no blame. I mean, it's very, very important that if you want to take safety from reactive to proactive level, and from proactive level to generative level, where the safety is basically the essential and the inherent part of our personality, it is very important that we create an environment where every near miss, every incident is a learning opportunity. It's not an opportunity to blame someone. And when you create that environment where every incident is a learning opportunity, then people are free to share their shortcomings. People are ready to share their incident just from the learning purpose. And that's how you will improve the safety.
Yeah, like they say, the failure is not like a failure per se, but it is a part of step to success, you know. So are most laboratories accidents caused by equipment's failure or human behavior?
Well, there are accidents, not only in the laboratories, but also at the industrial sites that might happen due to the equipment and equipment failure, which is beyond sometime our control. What is important in the lab or in any working site is that we need to have a constant checks of our equipment, that the maintenance schedule has been done according to the schedules. They are not outdated equipment. They are not causing any kind of safety hazards. But data shows that it is typically also the human factor is also involved. It could be many different factors. It could be time pressure. It could be overlooking certain only a minor safety parameter or safety aspect. It could be lack of communication. It could be lack of training. It could be simply a human error. Despite everything there could be an error. And data shows that it's typically the human factor combined with the weakness of the equipment that sometimes causes a kind of a big incidents in the working place.
So let's talk about laboratory sustainability. Laboratories are known to consume large amounts of energy and chemicals. Why sustainability becomes so important? Hello, if you are passionate about medical world and your life is 100% related to it, please contact us. We discuss everything, what happens around us, how people work, and what could be done better. In the podcast of Medica Secure, we talk about everything. Please join us. Our email is contact@medicasecure.com. Thank you. Bye.
So, as you very rightly mentioned, laboratories are the places which are the very resource intensive. They consume, if we think about chemistry laboratory or a biology laboratory, medical labs, we are consuming a huge amount of chemicals or bioreagents and very expensive equipment as well, and consumables which you are using only for a particular experiment, and then they are going for the waste. And especially in the chemical laboratories, you often see that we have like a huge inventory of the chemicals. Someone might need a very small amount of chemical, but then we still have a quite big inventory of the chemicals in the lab, or there could be due to lack of because they can't access the information what is there in the inventory, there might be double or even triple ordering of the chemicals which are staying in the inventory. And also labs are working in isolation. If in a big we think about a big university, if the labs are working in isolation and they are not cooperating each other and not sharing their resources, then these chemicals are residing within the same laboratory, while the other laboratory we can also have the same chemicals. So the biggest thing is also from the inventory point of view, there could be a huge amount of chemicals that can be lying there, and then some chemicals they are just wasted, they are expired, and they are just laying there. They are taking the space, they are taking the resource in terms of the time to figure out which chemical is there. Also from the other resources, from the energy resources, if there are certain equipment which need a constant supply of electricity or the power all the time, but there are certain equipment which might not need the constant continuous supply of power and electricity all the time. So we have to very carefully think about that where we are using those, using all these energy sources into that one. And just very important in the chemistry labs are these fume hoods. Mm-hmm. And these fume hoods are always ventilated. And if those hoods are kept open, this ventilation takes a lot of energy. Mm-hmm. And one research, for example, in Helsinki University, they conducted a research that if it's kept open, so 1 year it can easily take like 11,000 megawatt energy, corresponding to 1 million euros easily. Oh. So just doing a very small action, sustainability is doesn't mean that we have to do something very big. There are big sustainability initiatives at the national, international levels, or at the organizational level, but when we are working in the lab, we have to think of very small actions that we can do, think wisely that how much chemical do I really need to use, 100 gram of chemical, or can I work with still 10 grams and I can get the results that I need, because all that is the resources in terms of the money and that we are consuming, and that money can be used somewhere else. We don't have infinite resources on this earth. So it is each and everyone's responsibility to think responsibly that the resources we are using, we should use them in an efficient way.
So, what are some simple changes that every laboratory can implement immediately, like without passing through any approbation or something like that?
I think already I mentioned, I think the instant change would be to really have their inventory managed in a proper way, and really making sure that there are no double orderings or multiple ordering of the same chemicals, and if the chemicals which are there, making sure that we are not overusing the chemicals, we are only ordering what is needed. That are the very easy changes that can be implemented. Other are the energy resources, the equipment that we are using, the energy resources that we are doing there. water resources, energy resources, and doing a small incorporating good laboratory habits in the daily life. Like, for example, when we are not using the fume hood, we will close the fume hood because otherwise it's consuming a lot of energy. If we are not working in the lab, there is no need to keep all the lights open unless they are needed by any regulation. So let's make sure that we turn off the lights and so on.
Is there actually a position like responsible of inventory or of safety procedures in every laboratory, or it is overestimated by laboratories so they don't pay such a person?
Well, it depends which domain we are talking, academia or industry. In the industry, what I have observed, yes, there are safety responsibles, there are dedicated people who are looking into the safety aspects of the lab, where the incidents are discussed. And I had been myself few years part of a chemical safety advisor in one of the committee, where any incident from the chemical safety point of view, from human point of view, from other equipment point of view is discussed. In academia, it might depend on the kind of the environment that lab has created. It might vary even within the same institute. I think what is important is that whether we are working in academia or we are working in industry, it would be important that we are different under one umbrella. Different units are working independently. They have a kind of a harmonized set of practices so that people don't have to change their mindset all the time. So they can work more efficiently if there is a kind of a harmonized way, and then safety is not addressed just at the lab level, but at a bigger levels, and so that the bigger stakeholders at the back of implementing the safety in the lab.
Let's talk about technology and digital transformation. Many laboratories, they still use paper-based systems. What challenges does this create?
Yeah, as I was mentioning, that the biggest thing is when we are using the chemicals in the lab. For the chemicals, you have to go through the safety data sheets, and this is a 14-page document stored in some folder, and it's a rather boring document to go through. And when going through, this is one part of that one. And if you have to look for the inventory, then you have to find another folder. Then there you looked at this chemical should be located where. And if you have to do the waste management, and if the waste management is done in a separate folder, a separate system is there, paper-based, then it's you have to look there. So and so on. And when there is a safety incident, then it's a separate system. So if it's all paper-based system, the challenge it creates is that the scientists and the researchers who are meant to do the innovation, who need to be creative and do new innovation, spending their time on the experimentation, they are spending a lot of time in just finding the right information at different isolated places, at a fragmented places. So that's a kind of a big challenge. There had been digitalization of the individual different laboratory-related kind of programs. There had been digitalization of that one. But if those softwares or the digital solutions are also independent of each other and not communicating with each other, then still you have to enter into each system separately and then find the information, and then still it is creating this kind of a redundant work and inefficient work. Ideally, what would be important that right from starting from the safety, having a proactive safety mindset and sustainability mindset, your whole experimental planning, including also lab-related any issues like inventory management, waste management, trainings, follow-up, everything is integrated in one digital platform. That will reduce the redundancies and improve the efficiency, and scientists will do the work they need to do. Less administrative work, more research work.
So let's imagine that the laboratory finally has its own digital system, and another laboratory, let's say under the same company group, is working in another country and they have their own system. Do you think that it's possible somehow to connect these systems and that they will share not only maybe the inventory, but also, some incidents which happened already in some laboratory, to experiment and to exchange the experiments, like saying, be careful, we had this incident, so they would communicate, and maybe Sustafe could manage this,
Yeah, absolutely, this is possible. Right now we have many laboratory information management system, so-called LIMS system, which most of the labs are using. Typically, these LIMS systems are meant to plan your experiment. They are also dealing with the inventory to some extent, but for example, the other aspects which I mentioned when it comes to the incident reporting, the training, and the incident reporting, they are handled by a separate system. So this LIMS system has already in industry, I have seen that, for example, one site is in one country, other site is another country. It's possible through the own company's intranet, it's possible that you could share the information, not only about the experiments, but also if there is incidents, if they are put in the same system, you can follow that one. That remote location is not a barrier to share the information between the different location. That's absolutely possible. What would be interesting here is that since our vision is that we want to make the labs safer, more sustainable, and smarter by bringing all the lab-related tools under one platform, digital platform. There you can basically see the overall picture of one location versus other location. You can share the incidents, you can share the learnings out of those, and that will help to improve the safety awareness and also the safety culture, and making labs more safer, learning from other locations.
Yeah, there are a lot of new products coming to a medical world, and I think if a big investment company wants to start from scratch, it would be interesting to have a playbook of safety, how to implement laboratory from zero, already thinking in mind, about sustainability and how it would be, let's say, world-class laboratory. Let's talk about AI. What role do AI and digital platforms play in improving laboratory safety and sustainability? Do you implement any features in your, platform inside?
So this artificial intelligence is really a remarkable tool, and how I see it, it is an assistant for what we want to do. It's not replacing anyway the human intelligence and the human insight into the safety. How we are developing our AI assisted Sustafe solution that will definitely will help. It will help in a way that, for example, if we are planning an experiment, and in the planning of the experiments, you have to choose the materials, you have to choose the methods, you have to choose the equipment, and then you have to choose some other accessories and consumables. While you choose those ones, and then you have a certain process conditions, when you choose those ones, then the AI we can automate the whole risk assessment of this particular task or activity in the lab. And based on this AI-assisted risk assessment, you immediately see that what kind of a risk should be there, and then there are certain measures that can be given there. That is one aspect of that one. Other aspect is that when we build Sustafe, a digital platform, in a way that any activity also has a possibility that if there is any near miss happening during that activity, or there is an unsafe condition or some incident happen, and then that incident is linked to that activity, and that incident undergoes a thorough investigation, the learnings from those incidents. And when we have those a big database based on that one, then AI can help us to do a kind of a predictive analytics of these incidents and can guide us that based on this pattern, if you have these kind of conditions, then this particular risks are foreseen. So we can be very proactive in taking that measures, whether it's engineering measures, whether it's a training that people need to be trained, or there could be some alternate methods that we need to adopt that can be used, and it can help us in many different ways.
Yeah, sort of to create scenarios in a possible situation of incidents, and then to see how AI would react, which kind of measures, point by point, they should do quickly. Sometimes it's the matter of minutes, how you have to react, and that would be interesting to do. Let's talk about startup journey, because well, from academia to business, it's kind of a big jump. What has been the biggest challenge in building Sustafe?
I think the biggest challenge was that we had the vision. We knew that we want to address safety in a way that labs should be proactive in their day-to-day operations. They should also address sustainability. It should not be taken as a roadblocker to innovation. It is actually enabler to the innovation. Now, the first biggest challenge was that how to transform this vision into some tangible product that can do the job that what we are envisioning it. So in the Sustafe platform, that was the first thing. Second thing was that we wanted to very clearly understand the customer voice. It's very, very important for any startup journey that we wanted to understand that what do the customers really want. So before we did any kind of development, technical development or architecture development, we really went in the field all across the world based on our contacts, contacted in all continents, and talked with the people, took their feedback. The people who had worked for 20 years, 30 years in the lab, took their input and asked the potential questions. What do you think that if this kind of a solution is there, do you think it's a kind of a redundant thing, or is it helpful? So based on that input was very, very valuable. Third thing is, very important thing is that you need to have a customer validation. So we have tested our demo app, our kind of a MVP and even we have piloted our digital platform, digital solution in one of the university in Helsinki, in Metropolia University, in a limited environment with about 30 plus students. And that feedback was very, very important for us. We just don't want to hear that it was good and so on. We really want to hear the hands-on feedback, what feature would be good to have there. So that's very important to capture this one. So these are kind of the three challenges that basically are coming along the way. And I'm very thankful to wonderful team that we have, that we have gone along the way very well. And we have incorporated the customer voice. We have taken the feedback, and now we are developing a kind of a big architecture that can be customized for any customer.
So how long time it took from the idea, then to MVP, then to testing the product?
When we think about the idea and idea refinement, I could say that at the beginning we were a team of 4 people. And that's also a very important aspect of any startup, that you need to have a good team. And good team means not only having the right expertise, but the ability to work together and work as a team. And it's also, I realize it's very, very important in the entrepreneur world and in the startup world that you have a complementary skills. Not people coming from the same background, but people like coming from industry, from academia, from IT, from IT architecture, IT testing, and so on. So we had this team of 4 people, and then we submitted our idea to one of the program by the Helsinki University. That was a Helsinki incubator program. Our idea was accepted. Based on this incubator program, we underwent some mentorship, we underwent some training, and also then we kept on refining our idea. And so when we had the idea refined, it took like 4 to 6 months. And once we had idea refined, and the good thing about the idea refinement is that once you have refined it very thoroughly, then in the execution phase it's much easier. Then you know that exactly what you're going to do. So when we had this idea refinement, we had a brainstorming how to do it. Then with the resources that we had, we went forward to make a first kind of a demo version, which was on the app. That was developed on the app, and that took about 3 to 4 months. And then we started discussing with potential partners, potential customers, and Metropolia University in Helsinki, they agreed to test our product in their environment. But it was, as I mentioned, it's very important to listen to the customer voice. So we listened to their voice. They said, no, the app wouldn't work for us because students are working in the lab, so we would need something on a web platform. So we customized the whole solution for them. That was on a web platform, but that provided us the basis that if we need to do a big migration now from app to the web-based digital platform, we can do that one. And right now we are a kind of a full development we are doing on that platform.
Let's talk about financial part. Who is financing all that, or you decided, okay, we will work this year for free, all 4 of us, and how many people are working full-time?
So in the beginning, it was a startup, and we had our day jobs as well, and it was a kind of a side hustle. And the biggest resource that we were putting into this one was our time. And also we were financing from our own pocket. Along the way, we got some not very big grants, but based on some pitching competition, we won some pitching competition, so we got some grant from Helsinki Think Company. And that grant was enough for us, for example, to make the initial demo version on the app. And then we had some students, some thesis students working for us, which was a kind of a very valuable resource for us because they wanted to complete their thesis. And that's work, university also thought it must be something that would be helpful for them. So we got this kind of a resource as well. And then we have some strategic partnership with some partners, for example, in the Middle East. Based on this strategic partnership, they have provided us kind of a full-time resource. So right now, we have one full-time developer who is developing the solution, and about 6 people right now. They are part-time working, and 4 of our co-founders are working almost kind of full-time without any salary and so on. That's the part of the startup. That's the journey you have to take.
So what advice you would give for the future entrepreneurs who are thinking to go from academia, maybe from research and development to business? Do they have to first find team, then slowly refine the idea? Would you recommend to go to incubators or not?
Well, a few aspects of this question is that first thing is that when you are going from academia to entrepreneur world, it's a totally different world. And I was coming from an industrial background, and right now due to my job, I had been involved in the technical business and so on. So one thing, if I think back when I was in academia and if I would have that idea, I would have immediately noticed that the current set of skill is not enough to take me forward. The technical expertise alone is not enough. Here in the entrepreneur world, you need to know how to negotiate the deals, how to do the business deals, how to raise the money, how to work in a team, and how to have the skills which you will never think about when you are, for example, in academia, legal aspects, many other aspects of those ones, and how to lead the team as well if you're working in the team. That's we have to keep our mind open. That is a learning opportunity, and you have to learn the new skills. Now, first thing is that if you have an idea, it's very, very important that you, first of all, validate. First of all, try to understand that whether this idea is just an academic curiosity, or is it something that is a practical thing that can serve the humanity, that can serve the consumer. And what could be the segment where you will be working on that one. And if you are coming from purely academic background, you need people. People who should support you in expanding the business, in marketing, in sales, if you are not coming from the IT, like I am not from the IT world. So I need people who can transform the vision to the digital platform, for example. And if there is some other idea where you are just coming from academia, where you have experience only to work in the lab, but if you want to a pure science, scientific technology, and then this technology you want to take to the bigger scale, then you have to work in the pilot scale, where only the scientists don't work, but the engineers have to run the plant. Engineers need to know, and what are the scale of factors and so on. So these complementary, having this kind of additional people are always needed. And that's very, very important, is to understand the customer voice. You might think that this is a very good solution, but what you think is not important. What is important is what the customers think. Do they think that this is solving their problem? Do they think that it is making their life easier? And that's what counts. And then based on that one, you start developing the product.
So what milestones are you the most proud of? Do you think that you could adapt your academic experience mixed with the business experience?
The milestones, but I think were very important. As I mentioned, the journey that we had, this development from idea to an app based on mobile, a demonstration app, and now we had this piloting that we did, and then we had this full-scale development going on. While the product development is also a milestone, but I think for me personally, the most important milestone was the validation coming from the customer. Because it's not just about the product, it's about the impact that it has. So we had demonstrated our app in the early days, and then our product was tested in the Metropolia University, and then we have talked with many potential customers, and the kind of the feedback they have given, the kind of usefulness this Sustafe digital platform can bring, and how it can make the life easier for them. I think that's the impact that I'm really proud of. And it's not just about expanding the business and finding more customer. That's important, but the most important thing is what is the impact that what we are giving to the humanity. And if our Sustafe digital platform can make the life easier for scientists, for researchers, they have to do less administrative work, and they have to do more research, and everything is brought under one platform where they don't have to look for individual information separately, and then they can think safety proactively, and it can reduce incidents from happening. I think that's the biggest impact that I really wish that I could be proud of.
Where do you see Sustafe in 5 years? Like you're active now in Europe, let's say, do you see Sustafe as well in US?
We have been, right now, we had talked, as I mentioned, in the very early stage of the idea validation. We had talked with experts to basically check the feasibility of the idea and the validity of the idea in different continents. And now, while we have piloted the product and we are developing it further, we are in constant discussion with some potential partners in US as well. And also we have some business expansion possibilities in Asia through Middle East, and also due to my personal connections in Japan, there is a possibility there as well. So in 5 years, I see that Sustafe becomes a trusted partner for the laboratories, for the companies, for the industrial sites. There they can use our digital platform in a way that is basically enhancing the safety by bringing the proactive safety mindset. It's basically saving a lot of resources, bringing sustainability thinking in a day-to-day operations, and it's also improving the daily operations because you are saving a lot of time. In order to find the scattered information, you are finding the information in a one integrated, harmonized platform.
So, just to summarize all what we talked about, I will ask you about myths and misconceptions. For example, safety slows down innovation. True or false?
I think this is just false. I will keep it false. Think about a lab where safety is not the priority, where people are not thinking about safety proactively and not doing anything regarding the safety. Any incident that happens, it basically hampers any lab operation. A very good example is coming from 2008, very sad incident that happened in University of California, Los Angeles in 2008, where one student, while taking the very flammable and very flammable compound, butyl lithium, taking in the syringe, that chemical spilled over the student, and that led to burning of the student 40% of the body, and unfortunately that student after 18 days in the hospital died. And the thing was that the student was having a simple lab coat. If safety mindset and the safety awareness would have been there, in order to use that chemical, flame retardant lab coat would be needed, which just cost $50 to have that one. That would have really saved a life, very precious life. And University of California has to pay $5 million in the legal proceedings afterwards. So you can see that just one small happening in the lab can cost labs a lot, $5 million, but it's a very precious life. And if incidents happen, then basically it's slowing down. We need to create an environment where people feel that they need to be proactive. Safety is not someone's responsibility. If I'm working in the lab, it's my responsibility. That I need to be aware of the safety of the others, safety of myself, safety of the environment in the lab. And when this mindset is basically incorporated in our daily work, then we create an environment where people feel that they are working for others. It gives them the satisfaction, the fulfillment, and they have a more peace of mind to work in a very safe environment where they can be more creative, more innovative, and come up with the new ideas that can serve the humanity.
So laboratory accidents are rare. Is that accurate?
To some degree, yes, it's accurate. We don't hear a lot. Like I pointed out to this 2008 very fatality that happened, but they do happen from time to time. And it's not just about any major accident that happened. Behind every major accident, there are a lot of near misses. Behind every near misses, there could be unsafe acts and some unsafe behavior. So there is a very famous Henrich triangle that behind one fatality, if one person is dying in an incident, there could be 300,000 unsafe acts that could lead to one fatality. So, yes, but safety is not something that we should now think. Now, safety, we have achieved a certain level of safety. Now we should be satisfied. Safety is something we have to earn every single day. Mm-hmm. Every single day, every new task, how many times we have done, we have to be safe all the time. And then in that way, we can prevent some major accidents to happen.
Compliance means we are safe. Is that enough?
Well, compliance means that we fulfill certain standards. But the real safety is not that we have checked the boxes. The real safety, as I was mentioning, is starting here. It's the mindset. And that mindset creates a culture in the working place, a safe culture. And that's what is needed. Compliance alone is not enough. You need to have the safety culture, safety mindset in place, that it is each and everyone's responsibility to think in a safe way.
Digital systems are too complicated. Myth or reality?
It could be both. It depends on the digital system. What is important, the ultimate purpose is not to digitalize just for the sake of digitalization. Mm-hmm. The ultimate purpose is that we want to digitalize because it should make the life easier. Mm-hmm. Just like Sustafe, I told that we are dealing with so many fragmented systems in the lab. So the purpose of the Sustafe is to bring everything together in one harmonized, integrated platform. And why we want to do that? Because information is more accessible, it's under one platform, people don't have to navigate through 10 different platforms or the paper folders and so on. So it should make the information more accessible, it should make the life more easier, it should improve the efficiency, they should not be spending time in finding the information should be readily available, and then it should help them. And of course then how you develop that one, the kind of a user experience is very important. So that's why it's very important to listen to the customer voice.
Sustainability is expensive. What is your perspective?
Sustainability initiatives can be expensive when they are coming from on a bigger level. Certain initiatives are taken. It could be expensive, but we should not look at sustainability, the cost of the sustainability, as a one-time cost. It is the cost over the long time, over the many years, that basically we need to take into account. And thinking about if we are, for example, a very simple example, if we are using an equipment in the lab which is consuming a lot of electricity, but now we are buying an expensive equipment which is consuming less electricity and it's more sustainable, the initial cost, the investment cost is high. But the return over investment over a period of time, if you calculate, is much more compared to that one. So, and as I mentioned, it is our responsibility to protect, basically we have limited resources. It's our utmost responsibility to use these resources in a responsible way to protect the resources.
We start a quick fire round. That's a little bit to understand about your personality. First question, coffee or tea?
Tea in the morning, coffee in the afternoon.
AI or human expertise?
Human expertise powered by AI.
PPE or training?
Training about PPE.
Risk assessment or safety inspection?
Risk assessment for sure.
Prevention or reaction?
Prevention.
Safety culture or safety rules?
Safety culture always.
Digital checklist or paper checklist?
For sure, digital checklist.
Near miss or accident report?
It's better to have a near miss than an accident.
Learning from mistakes or celebrating success?
Both. Both are important.
Compliance or continuous improvement?
Compliance is needed, is obligatory, and then continuous improvement is a must.
Sustainability or efficiency, or you can have both?
Both. Both are needed.
Data or intuition?
Data.
Hazard identification or risk communication?
Risk communication for sure.
One safety habit everyone should adopt?
Always think twice before you start any activity in the lab.
One sustainability habit every laboratory should implement?
Sustainability starts with the small steps. It's inventory management, energy sources, and so on. So start small.
Let's think about young scientists. What safety habits should every newcomer develop from their first day on in the laboratory?
They should, first of all, newcomers, since they are newcomers, they should never hesitate asking questions. And if they are unsure about anything, rather than assuming, always ask. Always ask the right persons about the safety precautions that need to be done. Equip yourself always with safety trainings. Have the proper safety trainings. If you are starting any new activity which is new for you, which you haven't done before, do a proper risk assessment. And after that risk assessment, take the mitigation steps.
Yes, also use Sustafe.
Yes.
Beyond technical skills, what mindset is essential for working safely and responsibly in a laboratory? So you said we have to think proactively, and you are a newcomer and you have no experience in working in a laboratory. Do you have to take like baby steps, or you first really have to ask about everything from your responsible hire?
Yeah, I would say that right now, as I see, is that people think the most important thing in the lab is research, which is very true. And safety and sustainability trainings they have to do, and they have to understand them. But I would rather challenge that notion. I would say that young scientists, they need to understand that safety and sustainability, thinking about safety and sustainability proactively, is an integral part of their research. They have to always think their research whether they can do it more safely, they can do it in a more sustainable way. In that way, they can be more creative, they can be more innovative, and they can come up with the solutions which no one has envisioned before.
So to wrap up a little bit, could you say one phrase about Sustafe in one sentence?
We are delivering digital platform, and we are delivering safety and sustainability at your fingertips. And that Sustafe digital platform is helping to make labs safer, more sustainable, and more smarter.
And what is one message you would like every scientist and every laboratory professional to remember?
I would say that safety starts with A, B, C. Mm-hmm. Always be careful. Mm-hmm. And think twice before you start any experiment, any activity in the lab.
Thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure meeting you here. And for those who would like to participate in our podcast, please contact us by email, contact@medicasecure.com. And until next time, thank you. Bye-bye.